Most of the videos on YouTube that teach you how to create motion graphics with AI use code, the terminal, or complicated storyboards. My system is much simpler. I use Claude Design, which is one of the easiest tools for creating motion graphics. And I've basically come up with 3 or 4 different tricks to easily get it to create motion graphics just like these ones that are more than good enough for what I need. So if you're looking to quickly and easily make great looking motion graphics with Claude Design, this is the right video for you. To get started with this, you want to head over to claude.ai/design. Claude Design is included with your Claude subscription, so if you're already paying for Claude, this isn't going to cost you anything extra. Up here at the top is the prompt box. The first thing you need to do is select the animation template. So down here on the dropdown where it says template, you can select animation. Now, one little warning, Anthropic has been changing the way that the Claude Design homepage looks a lot recently. This has gone through about 3 changes in the past few weeks. So this animation button may move. Just find it wherever it is and select animation. That's what we use for motion graphics. Then here in the prompt box, you can tell Claude Design what you want it to animate. What I'll do for you now is share 3 or 4 different prompts I use with Claude Design to create motion graphics with 0 design skills. This first method is by far the easiest way to get great looking motion graphics. I have 2 different websites here that have examples of some nice looking motion graphics. If you want to create motion graphics that look similar to these ones, these are all free to copy and use. On this site, for instance, you can find a motion graphic you like and click on this copy button. Or on this website, you can click on any of the motion graphics, highlight all the code on the left and copy it down. Then returning back to Claude Design, you can paste in the code that you just copied. By the way, in the description of this video, I'll have a link to a Google Doc that will contain all of the resources and prompts from this video. So for instance, it will have the websites where you can find those templates and the prompt for you to use. This prompt is pretty simple, but some of the other prompts I'll share with you later in this video will be much longer. So copy down this prompt, come back into Claude Design, and under the code, paste it in. This prompt, like I said, is simple. It says use this template, but, and then you want to describe what changes you want to make to the motion graphic that you're copying and using as a template. So in this case, this is the motion graphic that I'm copying. I really like the design. I want to use it as chapters in a video, but I don't want to call them chapters and I don't want it to say at the bottom the beginning. So I'll tell it to change those. I'll change the word chapter to tricks, and I'll change the word the beginning to whatever it is I'm talking about in that section of the video. So I'll say change chapters to trick and the beginning to use templates. Once you tell it all the changes you want, you can of course submit it along, and then Claude Design will get to work. And then just a couple of minutes later, and here's what it created for us. All of that with one single prompt. And the reason this works so well is because we had that template. We didn't need to go back and forth with Claude, telling it what we were looking for exactly and clarifying. It already had the template showing it exactly what we wanted. Now, don't feel limited by these templates. You can build on them or combine them. So I took the template that we used for this one and also the template for this design, copied down the code for both of them, gave both of them to Claude Design and told it to put them together into one sequence. And this is what it made for me. We have the title screen and then we have the progress bar. So feel free to combine these or add to these as much as you want. But what if you see a motion graphic you love and there's no template for it? Well, you can still get Claude Design to mimic that style for your own motion graphic pretty easily using screenshots. Let's say, for instance, you're watching one of my YouTube videos and you see this motion graphic that you love and want to use yourself. All you have to do is take a screenshot of the first frame and the last frame, and maybe 1 or 2 in the middle if there's significant animations that you want to pinpoint. So here's the start frame. I'll just grab a screenshot of that, and then I will play it until it's done with that animation and take a screenshot of that. So now we have that start and end frame. So coming back to Claude Design, I'll click on this plus icon, click on attach file and attach both of those screenshots. Next, make sure you of course select the animation template wherever that is. And then inside the Google Doc down below, I have another very simple prompt for you right here. It tells Claude Design that you're attaching 2 screenshots of a motion graphic that you want to recreate. And it's the start frame and the end frame. So copy that down, come over to Claude Design and paste it in. You also need to describe what the animations are and any changes you want to make. So for this one, for instance, I'll describe how each bullet point gets loaded with this orange circle. Then once it's done loading, it gets checked off with a blue check mark as the words get scratched out. And as it goes through each bullet point doing that, the progress bar at the top loads until it's 5 out of 5. So let me just type all that out. There we go. And then also you need to describe what changes you want to the visual, because right here, this is my motion graphic with the words I use for my video, but you'll want to adapt it for yours. In this case, I'm going to tell it to change at the top where it says Claude Cowork to Claude Design. I'll change this button to say, help me with motion graphics, and these bullet points to kind of run through everything we've talked about in this video about how you create motion graphics. Great. And now with all of that in place, we can send it along and it knows exactly what this design should look like and what changes to make to it. And here we go. Now this is nearly perfect. I'm always glad though when things don't quite go according to plan when I'm recording these videos, because it's always a great chance for me to show you how to fix things that don't go well. The mistake that I don't like here is that this progress bar isn't smooth. It's jumping like this, which is not what I wanted. But that's my own fault for not telling it in the prompt when I describe the animation. But we can easily fix that just by telling Claude Design what change we want. So here I'll tell it I want the progress bar at the top to be smooth. And that's it. And what do you know? I still didn't get it to do what I was looking for. You see, it still has that jerky motion. That's because I didn't describe the right way to do this. I said smooth, which it is smooth, but it's not continuous, which is what I was looking for. So we'll try something different now. I'll say I want it to steadily increase the entire time, timed so it reaches full when the motion graphic ends. And now it is perfect. This is exactly what I was looking for. So that's how simple it is. Just taking screenshots of the start frame, the end frame, describing what the animation does and any changes you want, and you can have motion graphics like this. A lot of the time when I'm creating motion graphics is for YouTube videos just like this one, where I'm talking directly into the camera. So I put together a prompt that uses the transcript from any video or audio file to create motion graphics like this for my talking head videos. Here's the prompt right here. I'll copy this down, come over to Claude Design, paste it in, and of course, make sure we have animation selected. You will also need a transcript of your video, presentation, or audio file with timestamps. There are lots of tools that will do this for you for free. I just use Gemini. So this is the prompt that I use. It just says transcribe this file, SRT style. Then I upload the video, type in that prompt, and here I have a timestamp transcript. So I can copy that down, come over to Claude Design and paste it at the bottom. To make sure that your motion graphic is on brand, you'll also want to upload resources that Claude Design can use for the branding of your animation. So this video is all about using Claude Design. So I'll just take a screenshot of the Claude Design homepage and upload it as an attachment. With that now attached, Claude Design can use that styling for my motion graphic. That way it feels on brand for the video that I'm creating. Obviously, the more assets that you upload, the more on brand the presentation and the animation will be. Let's check out the first version that it made for us. So that's where I talk about how most people have to use code or terminal or the storyboard. A little bit of a mistake there. We'll fix that. And here's the rest of it where I say my system is much simpler. We use Claude Design and we start with the animation template. Yeah, so this is a really solid first attempt here. It's nearly perfect, but I find with these animations, I usually have to do 1 or 2 follow-up prompts because we're not working from a template. So here, I think the only real change I want to make is to this part right here. Where is that? That's around the 5-second mark. So I can tell it around the 5-second mark, you show the complicated storyboards, and the storyboards boards overlap the text. You have to move them. And then the other thing I'll change is right here, I want these tricks to be blurred out so you don't know what they are until you actually watch the video. So I'll say around the 17 to 18 second mark, I want the names of all 3 tricks to be blurred out so they can't be read. All right, so just a couple of minutes later, and let's check out the V2 of it. This part isn't changed, of course, but here's the storyboard. Perfect. That's now out of the way. And let's go over to the next part. All of that's blurred out. Or another way you can achieve the same thing is with the markup tool. So if you click on the top here where it says markup, you can select any element in your motion graphic. Like this one right here, I think it's a little bit too squished. There's not enough spacing. So I'll select that, and then you just describe what change you want to make. So for this one, I'll say there's not enough spacing here. Add more between the dash and the numbers. Send that to Claude, and then we'll reload it by clicking on the top left here on this refresh button. And let's take a look. I'll click markup again to get out of the markup mode. And where was that? There we go. Maybe a little bit too much, but I can change that if I wanted to. So really easy to make edits to your motion graphic, either just by describing what changes you want or using the markup tool. Another cool thing you can do with Claude Design is animate any UI or website. Here, for instance, I wanted a video of someone using the web version of Claude. So I came over to Claude Design, and this is what it made for me. It zooms into the Claude prompt box. Someone types in here, create a website for me or for my business, sends it to Claude, and then from that, Claude creates the website for the user. And all of this entire video was made by Claude Design. To get started with this, the first thing you should do is come over to the website or the UI that you want to animate and just take a screenshot of it. Then coming over to Claude Design, you'll obviously upload that screenshot. We've already done that before. But next, you want to click on this plus icon and select Grab Web Element. This is a tool that you can use to capture the code of any design element on a website so you can then give it to Claude Design. To use it, you want to hover over this button and actually drag it to your bookmark bar up here. Then returning to the website that you want to animate, click on that booklet that you just saved. And here you can select any element on the page. So I'm going to actually select this entire part of it right here. And when you select it, you'll notice that it puts the code for it right here. So you can copy that down and come back to Claude Design and paste it in. So now it has the screenshot, and right here is the code we just copied. I have a very simple prompt for this inside the document. You can copy this down, come over to Claude Design and paste it in. And here you're going to just describe, you're going to fill in all these blanks and just describe what animation you want. So here it says create a video of Claude AI being used. It should feel like a screen recording of a real user using the AI. And then you're going to describe step by step each animation. So I'll say zoom into the prompt box and then type in create a website for my business. And then it zooms out, and then I'll add in animation 4. The user's new website appears. Of course, I'll select animation here and send that along, and then you'll have something just like what I showed you before here in this example. Once your motion graphic is complete, you'll want to export it. To do that, click on the top right here where it says share. What you'll notice after you click on export is that there's no option to export as a video file. So I found a workaround that works for me. I'm sure there's other ways to do this, but this is what I do. I select Project Archive and click on Download. That then downloads a zip file onto my computer. Then I open up the Claude desktop app. Inside of here, I make sure on the top left, I have Cowork toggled. And then I select where I want to save the video file. Here, I'll just save it to my desktop. Then I will attach the zip file I just downloaded and then tell Claude to export this as an MP4. It takes a while, but it does work. Then you'll be able to open up the folder where you pointed Claude Cowork to, and you'll see your new MP4 file. Here it is right here. And like I said, this does take a long time, and honestly, I never use this method. My little secret is that instead of doing this, I just play the video on Claude Design and record my screen using QuickTime, and it comes out really nice. No one ever notices that it's actually a screen recording of Claude Design. Now you know the easiest way to get started creating motion graphics with Claude Design. As I mentioned before, the link to all the resources is in the description down below. You don't need to enter in your email for that, it's just yours for free. So if you appreciate that, I would appreciate you giving this video a thumbs up and maybe letting me know in the comments. Then if you want to see some of the other great stuff you can do with Claude Design, click on this video right here. It's the old Claude Design UI, but it still works exactly the same, so it's going to be a useful video for you. Make sure to click on it, check out the video, and I'll see you over there in 1 second. Bye for now.